The first thing I did after being reborn as a dragon was to find a way to escape my mother's wrath. Because both your parents are pure-blooded true dragons while you are a wingless dragon beast. Among the proud dragon race, pure-blooded hatchlings receive an inheritance of memories at birth. This gives them a head start of decades over other races. But a mongrel dragon beast like you can't receive this inheritance, and what's worse, you're hideous to look at. Right now, she's staring at you with murder in her eyes. Tell me your true name. But you're still reeling from the shock of being reincarnated. Hearing your mother's menacing voice, a name subconsciously appears in your mind, Methiad. The dragon mother snorts a puff of white air. Your slow response only confirms her suspicion that you're a defective product. She immediately raises her claw, ready to crush you. But then she remembers the laws of the dragon race. No dragon shall feed on the flesh of their own kind. Violators will have their spirits stripped, their sinews torn out, and their true souls burned in the Dragonheart Forge. In the end, your mother lowers her claw, deciding to just dump you in the wild to fend for yourself later. It's then that you finally realize the danger you're in. I was reincarnated as the lowest of the low, a dragon beast. Where's my system? Hurry up and save me. Don't make me get on my knees and beg you. Holy crap, there really is a system. Shanhai Jing cheat engine activated. Initiating modification of host. Acquiring Taotie Bloodline. Unlocking innate talent Taotie's Gullet. You can devour all things and make their power your own. Ha 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 ha, isn't this the cheat engine from that game I used to play? I can't believe I now have the power of a Taotie. But your laughter enrages your mother. She lowers her head and roars, then smacks you with a giant claw, sending you flying into a wall. You crawl back to your feet covered in scrapes and spit out a mouthful of blood. Your mother, Caltaxis, is a 170-year-old young dragon. She's a full 20 meters long. That one slap nearly killed you, you monster. You really think I'm still just some worthless dragon beast? Don't look down on a young dragon just because he's poor. You curse your mother viciously in your mind, but the next second your stomach starts to rumble. You look around, but there's nothing to eat. You're severely injured and on the verge of death in desperate need of nutrients. Screw it! You open your mouth wide and take a huge bite out of the ground. You tear off a chunk of turf and chew it up dirt and all swallowing it down. You feel a strange power coursing through your body. The nutrients are working. Overjoyed, you ignore the disgusting taste and bury your head in the ground, eating frantically. Meanwhile, on the other side of the cave, besides you, your mother's clutch had 3 other eggs. Now they're all starting to hatch, 1 male and 1 female true dragon, and another one that, like you, is a dragon beast. Your mother looks at 3 hatchlings asking for their true names one by one. Zorjaxus and Istiria, but the dragon beast that hatched after them has an even weaker bloodline than you. It didn't even inherit a true name and can only coo and cry. After confirming the true dragon's names and checking their health, your mother returns to the cave, carrying a fat rotting fish in her jaws, which she drops in front of the 2 true dragon hatchlings. Its skin is already crawling with maggots, but for dragons, that's not a problem at all. Watching from the side, your mouth is watering so much you could cry. Just as you're wondering if you can sneak over and steal a couple of bites, you see the last dragon beast that hatched, and prepares to eat with her 2 young dragons. The dragon mother roars directly at the dragon beast. The powerful blast sends him flying, slamming him onto the ground. After tumbling a few times, he curls up and shivers in fear. The message is clear. The dragon mother's food is reserved for her true dragon cubs. A mere dragon beast isn't worthy. This display to crush any ideas of grabbing a bite. That fish is rotten anyway, it's not even good. Dirt and grass taste way better, plus they've got maggots. Just as you're trying to console yourself, that dragon beast staggers right up to you, a predatory glint in its eyes. Turns out, after seeing how badly you were hurt, it decided it wanted to eat you. But your wounds have already healed quite a bit. Not to mention the nutrients you got from eating earlier had strengthened your body. You pretend to be seriously injured. You wait for the dragon beast to approach, just as it opens its massive jaws to tear into you. You whip your head around and sink your teeth into its neck. The beast immediately starts to struggle, but it has no hope of escaping your bite. In fact, its thrashing only awakens the predatory instinct in your blood. With one savage jerk, you snap the beast's neck. Your body is healing at an incredible rate. If you were to eat him, your own body would probably evolve immensely, but in the end, you reluctantly let go. While fights between dragons happen all the time, to kill and eat your own kind is a violation of dragon law. If you're caught, you won't just be hunted down. They might even take away your true name, and without a true name, your own mother could justifiably eat you, and sure enough, the dragon mother's cold eyes have been watching you this whole time. Not that she planned on intervening, because if you two had killed each other, she could have justifiably eaten both your corpses. Interesting. I suppose it's time to grant them names. Dragon names usually follow a format true name, clan name, and title, and so the time came. Your brother and sister are each granted the clan name of Omniloros, but you are deemed unworthy of a clan name. From now on, I will call you Krovik. Krovik in the dragon tongue means cigar. The name is without a doubt an insult, but to survive you have no choice but to grit your teeth and endure it. Krovik. This humiliation will be the memory that fuels my growth. I will tear apart everyone who stands in my way. Every dog has its day. Just you wait until I'm powerful enough, I'll rip the sinews from your very bones. Soon, night falls. The dragon mother and the 2 young dragons are fast asleep. Faking your own sleep, you slowly open your eyes. You cautiously try to get up. Seeing you haven't disturbed your mother, you tiptoe over to a pile of broken bones and scraps, while those 3 are sleeping with full bellies. My stomach is still growling. You miserably grab a bone and shove it in your mouth. Ouch, too hard, I can't even chew on it. Looks like I'll have to go find my own food. Just as you're about to leave the dragon's lair, you suddenly spot some eggshells on the ground. They're the shells left behind after the other hatchlings emerged. Every part of a dragon is a treasure, and naturally their eggshells are packed with rich energy. You grab a handful of shells and stuff them in your mouth. After a few chews, you're shocked to discover these shells contain an unimaginable amount of life force. They're practically the essence of life itself. To keep the crunching sound from waking the other 3 dragons, you deliberately gather up the shells and run outside the cave to eat them. To keep the crunching sound from waking the other 3 dragons, you deliberately gather up the shells and run outside the cave to eat them. The dragon eggshell was hard and crunchy like a stale biscuit that reeked of rotten fish. You forced yourself to eat all the shells through the foul taste, but then you started to choke. You scrambled over to the river to get a drink, but when you saw your reflection in the water, you froze. Why the hell am I so ugly, red, black, and no wings? I'm definitely not a pure-blooded dragon. Whatever, at least I still have my cheat system. With that thought, you summoned your Mountain and Sea scroll. The first page displayed your current bloodline, the Taotie. However, just having the Taotie bloodline wasn't enough. This scroll also had a purification function. You had to collect similar materials in order to purify it. For example, to purify it into a complete Taotie, you had to eat things that fit the Taotie's gluttonous nature. Staring at your reflection in the water, you gradually got lost in thought. In a single day, you'd gone from a human to a dragon, narrowly escaped death at the claws of your own mother, and even killed your own brother in a bloody fight. It took a long time before your mind finally settled. After that, you slowly crawled back to the cave entrance. Looking at the rotten fish bones, you thought for a moment before finding a spot to bury them. Just because I can't chew them now doesn't mean I won't be able to later. It's always a good idea to stock up on food. After all, Dragon Mom is not about to bring food to a lowly dragon like you. With that, you crawled back into the cave to get some sleep, although you were extremely reluctant to live with those 3 other dragons at your current strength. Venturing out into the world was far too dangerous. So until your wings were fully fledged, you had no choice but to rely on your dragon mother. Soon a new day arrived. The first thing you did was head to the river from yesterday. You were startled as soon as you got close because you discovered your appearance had changed. Your body was a size thicker compared to yesterday. You immediately made your way back to the river. The moment you drew near, you jumped back in shock. It was because you realized your features had been altered. Your body was a full size thicker than yesterday. Small bone buds were even sprouting from your elbow joints. You looked down at the riverbed and saw plenty of fish swimming about. With a loud roar, you leaped into the river. A stream of bubbles rose to the surface. Help! Help! You quickly held your breath and step by step crawled from the river bottom toward the shallows. You collapsed, sprawled out on your back on the riverbank, gasping for air. You'd just swallowed a belly full of water along with a few small fish and shrimp by accident. Then you stood up and began to think. Even if I learn to swim now, the fish are definitely faster than me in the water. I'll never be able to catch them. After a moment of thought, your advantage as a transmigrator kicked in. You ran back to the cave, dug up the fish bones you buried yesterday, and pulled one out to take with you. Then you used a rock to sharpen it into a small spike before finding a vine and tying it tightly through the spike. And just like that, you had made a simple fish hook. Although it looked laughably crude, if a fish swallowed it, the hook would get stuck in its throat, allowing you to drag it ashore. Next, you found a large worm in the forest. Fighting the urge to pop it in your mouth, you threaded it onto the fish hook and tossed it into the river. But an hour passed and there was no movement at all. Do I need to chum the water or something? Just as you were about to give up, a massive force suddenly yanked on the vine in your hands. Holy crap, a big one caught off guard. You stumbled forward. Once you caught your balance, you quickly grabbed the vine and pulled back. This fish is incredibly strong in the water. I can't just fight it head on. After struggling for a few minutes exhausted, you came up with a plan. You tied the vine you were holding to a large tree nearby. The fish in the water pulled so hard it made the entire tree shake. Whenever the fish's pulling lessened, you'd give the line a couple of vicious yanks. Finally, after the fish ran out of energy, you hauled it out of the water. This fish was huge, over 3 feet long, almost as big as you. Without hesitating, you sank your teeth into its belly. The nutrient-rich meat filled your stomach. Ah, so good. Nothing beats eating meat. In just a few moments, you devoured the fish, leaving nothing behind. You let out a satisfied burp and lay down under a large tree to digest. You have acquired the passive skill fish oil. As the codex notification sounded, you felt a subtle change happening inside your body. It felt like you had more of an affinity for water. You jumped into the water to test it out and discovered that even though you couldn't swim before, you could now glide through the water as easily as a fish. Afterward, you climbed back onto the shore feeling a little drowsy. The natural talent of the Dragon Clan is decades ahead of other races. They just have to eat and sleep all day and their power will multiply. And if you want to escape the Dragon Mother's watchful eye, you have to get stronger as fast as possible. For now, sleeping was your most efficient option. Later, you returned to the cave and found your brother and sister eating. It was the rotten fish the Dragon Mother had stored away. Black dragons have a habit of storing their captured prey and waiting for it to rot before eating it. Of course, as a mere dragon beast, you weren't worthy of eating it. The Dragon Mother's gaze fell upon you. She thought you had run away and was surprised to see you'd actually returned. Her eyes narrowed as she noticed your body had somehow changed. In just a single day, you'd grown to a level that would take an ordinary whelp over a month to reach. This was extremely rare among dragons. Your bloodline seems to be special. A rather impressive constitution. A shame you're just a dragon beast. No matter how powerful a dragon beast becomes to a true dragon, they are nothing more than a humble servant. After a few more glances, the Dragon Mother lost interest. Meanwhile, you looked at the 2 young dragons, who got to eat meat without having to work for it, and you couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. Ah, my foolish little brother and sister, I may eat less, but I work so much harder. The thought that from now on you'd have to find all your own food ignited the spirit of the grind within you. Nasad, you worthless creature, how dare you sleep in the same cave as me? Get lost. The one speaking was your own brother. What was his name again? It's Zorjaxus, you mongrel. Have you already forgotten your master's name? You frowned. Why was this little brother of yours so arrogant? Judging by size alone, Zorjaxus was a good bit smaller than you. In a one-on-one fight, you were confident you could wipe the floor with him. But if you beat him to a pulp, the Dragon Mother would probably kill you. The Dragon Clan respects strength above all else. How dare a weakling like you call yourself master? Your name is too long, I'll just call you Zorjax. Got a problem with that? You'd cleverly pointed out the rule, and just as you expected, the Dragon Mother, who had been ready to intervene, immediately settled down. The Dragon Clan respects strength above all else. If a true dragon can't defeat a dragon beast, then he's just a worthless failure. You keenly sensed the Dragon Mother didn't want to get involved. This little black dragon may have the lineage, but his brain was no match for a transmigrator like you. Seeing you talk back, Zorgar flew into a rage and charged. You didn't back down an inch, meeting him head-on and crashing right into him. But what you didn't expect was, even though you looked bigger, Zorgar's strength actually overpowered yours. How is his strength on par with one of my dragon beasts? You call yourself a dragon. Go crawl back into your egg and grow for a couple more years. Inwardly, you started to take him seriously, but on the outside, you just sneered. Your words sent Zorgar into a blind rage and he charged at you, claws swinging. This time, he was using his full strength. You faked another head-on collision, but at the last second, you dodged and slipped behind him. Hooking your claws up and around from behind his dragon wings, you instantly locked Zorgar in a chokehold. At the same time, you wrapped your legs tightly around his waist. The move was strange, but incredibly effective. No matter how hard Zorgar struggled, he couldn't break your hold on his neck. In fact, his struggling was just draining his stamina even faster. You filthy mongrel, get the hell off me. Your eyes turned vicious. Just because you were wary of the Dragon Mother didn't mean you had no temper. You violently dragged your claws across Zorgar's neck. They were like blades tearing right through his dragon scales. Zorgar let out a pained grunt. A bloodline this pathetic dares to call itself a dragon. Take that crumbling power of yours and just disappear forever. Unexpectedly, the pain actually made that weakling Zorgar start to cry. Just then, the dragon mother's half-closed eyes finally opened. For the next 10 years, you may be impulsive, but you are forbidden from killing your own kin. In the end, the dragon mother couldn't bear to see a dragon she had birthed be killed. You play favorites, don't you? You reluctantly let him go. The moment Zorgar broke free, he ran crying to the dragon mother. "Get lost, you useless thing!" The dragon mother then turned her gaze to you. Although she didn't say a word, you saw the warning in her eyes. It meant that the ferocity you just displayed posed a threat to her other 2 children. If you didn't learn to hold back, the dragon mother might just kill you herself ahead of schedule. Though you were defiant inside, you didn't dare show it on the surface. You immediately found a corner and went to sleep. This time you slept for a total of 5 days. When you woke up 5 days later, your body had changed noticeably. Your muscles were fuller and you had grown by half a meter. You looked over and saw the other 2 young dragons eating. The dragon mother had prepared a mountain of food for them to ensure they had enough nourishment to grow, but even now they were still half a head shorter than you. Zorgar's gaze was filled with hatred as he looked at you. But when you looked back at him, Zorgar quickly lowered his head. Pathetic and cowardly, you stretched your body getting ready to go out and hunt to fill your stomach. But just as you were about to leave the cave, your sister Istiria suddenly called out to you. "What do you want? Mother is going to sleep for a while. I have the right to distribute the food. Care to enjoy some of this delicious rotting meat?" It was only then that you noticed the sound of the dragon mother snoring from deep within the cave. "And what's catch? Submit to me." Istiria raised her neck, but because she was shorter than you, she had to tilt her head all the way back to look up at you. "I'm sorry. The way I was raised doesn't allow me to do that. The way I was raised doesn't allow me to do that." You immediately turn to leave, but Isti's voice stops you. "A dead piece of prey. This is a magical beast called a scent-luring demon." You immediately gulp, and your stomach starts to rumble. Magical beasts are beings that can use magic, so their bodies are naturally filled with mana. Faced with this temptation, you straighten up with a slight smile. "My lady, you truly have a keen eye. From now on, whatever you say goes. Truth be told, I've long wished to submit to you. My admiration for you is like a raging river, endless and unstoppable." Isti, a young female dragon merely 6 days old, actually blushes a little at your praise. "Fine, I accept your submission. Now shut up. Hey, only a fool passes up a free meal. Dignity, can you eat that?" Without hesitation, you place your hand on this massive source of mana and begin to absorb it with all your might. As expected of a powerful magical beast, the moment the pure energy flows into your body, it fills every single one of your mana channels. You absorb all of its immense, almost tangible mana without leaving a single drop. Seeing you just plop down after eating your fill, Isti grits her teeth to show off her magnanimity. She had specifically chosen one of the most powerful magical beasts to gift to you. But now seeing you stuffing your face until you're slick with grease, Isti is furious. But to uphold the pride of the dragon race, she can't say a word. Devoured scent-luring demon. Skill acquired shadow meld. When used, you can temporarily merge your body into the shadows. Analysis speed increased by 20%. And to your surprise, you discover that in the Mountain and Sea Compendium, the portrait of the Taotie has its claws lit up. To speed up your evolution, you decide to explore the outside world. You arrive at the Fuling Marsh. It's filled with puddles and mud and shrouded in a miasma. The natural energy here is weak. This territory isn't very good, really. Only a dragon species like the black dragons who prefer damp and dark places would choose to live here. The dragon matriarch built her nest in a river valley. The river here flows slowly with a gentle current. Based on your geographical knowledge from your past life, heavier metals and stones should settle here as sediment. So, if there are any precious ores or gems, they've likely been washed into this area. As you stroll along the riverbed, something suddenly catches your eye. You see something glowing on a dead tree nearby. Getting closer, you realize it's a plant that looks like a lantern. Upon closer inspection, you see it's actually a sack-like fungus hollow on the inside and filled with the sickeningly sweet smell of rotting fruit. Of course, you have no idea what this is, but that doesn't matter. You tear off a large chunk and toss it right into your mouth. It's very sweet and fragrant, you just feel your body starting to go a little numb. Consumed numbing lantern shroom, paralysis resistance +1, poison resistance +1. You notice that after eating it, the numbness and discomfort in your body gradually disappear. Seeing no other side effects, you begin to feast. Unfortunately, no matter how much you eat, it only provides a one-time stat boost. You walk and eat, and soon your hands are so full of the lantern shrooms you can barely hold them all. You stop and start tearing vines off a nearby tree. You decide to weave yourself a basket, but you've been at it for ages. Just as you're feeling pretty pleased with yourself, you realize you're absolutely terrible at crafts. You've nearly tied yourself into a knot. With a roar of frustration, you rip the vines off your body and angrily throw them on the ground. You let out a sigh, drop the vines in your hand, and get ready to give up. But at that very moment, a thorny vine at your feet suddenly shoots out and wraps tightly around your body. It then violently drags you into the bushes. By the time you realize what's happening, you've been swallowed whole by a 2-meter-tall pitcher plant. This plant is called a bloodvine symbiote cage. It's a symbiotic organism. If a human or any other creature stumbled in here, this highly corrosive fluid would instantly dissolve their flesh. However, you possess the bloodline of a black dragon. Trapped inside the cage, you're completely baffled. It can't hurt you at all. You look down at the corrosive solution and take a sip. You even smack your lips a couple of times. It's sour with a hint of sweetness. It has a bit of a burn going down your throat, kind of like a fruity soda. Having given your review, you open your mouth wide and start chugging the corrosive liquid. Drank Bloodvine Cage Stomach Acid, Corrosion Resistance +1. Poison Resistance +1. Short-term wound healing increased by 20%. After drinking the entire thing, you burp, you make a fist with your dragon claw, and punch the lid clean off. As you slowly climb out, you feel a sharp pain in your leg. It turns out to be the bloodvine. Almost forgot about that. You snap the vine strap, the pitcher plant to your back, and just like that, you've got yourself an all-natural backpack. You continue on your way snacking and grabbing things as you go, harvesting a ton of fantastical plants. You're not worried about powerful monsters appearing because your dragon mother's presence is a deterrent here. She cleared out all of the nearby magical beasts a long time ago. You also have another goal, to find a cave. The changes to your body are becoming more obvious, and if you stay with your mother any longer, she's bound to notice something's wrong. As you're walking, a small hill appears before you. On it, there's a naturally formed stone cave.